Yo, real talk. How do you know when a song is actually finished? Like, how do you stop tweaking and just let it go? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know how y'all deal with this. It's kind of like when you're trying to get that perfect shot for the gram, but you end up taking like 100 photos and still can't decide. Except with music, it's way worse because you're dealing with like a million different layers and sounds. Today, we're talking about something every artist and producer struggles with: when to stop messing with a track and call it done. Let's get into it. Alright, so you're in the studio, headphones on, deep in the zone, putting the finishing touches on your latest masterpiece. The room is dimly lit, the glow of the computer screen reflecting off your face as you meticulously adjust each track. Every beat, every note, every sound is under your scrutiny. You're feeling good. The groove is there, the melody is catchy, and you can almost feel the energy of the crowd that will one day hear this track. But then, you hear it. That snare. It's just a little off. It's not sitting right in the mix and it's driving you crazy. So you tweak it, you EQ it, compress it, maybe even layer it with another snare. You spend hours, maybe even days trying to get it just right. Now it's punchier, snappier, cleaner. Perfect, right? Wrong. Because now something else is off. The hi-hats, they're weak, buried in the mix. They've lost their sparkle. So you sidechain them, boost the highs, maybe add a little reverb. You're back in the zone, making adjustments, trying to bring everything into balance. And then, the vocals sound off. They're clashing with the hi-hats. The mix is starting to feel crowded. So you go back and adjust the vocals. You might even re-record them, trying to get that perfect take. But now the whole mix sounds different. It's like a delicate house of cards, and one wrong move sends everything tumbling down. It's like a never-ending cycle of tweaking one thing, which throws something else off. And before you know it, you've been working on this track for days, weeks, maybe even months. The calendar pages flip, and you're still stuck in the same loop. You're trapped in the endless loop of perfectionism. It's exhausting, mentally and physically. You start to question your skills, your ears, your judgment. It's like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube where every time you fix one side, another side gets messed up. The more you try to perfect it, the more elusive it becomes. You keep chasing this mythical, perfect version of the song, but it's always just out of reach. It's like a mirage in the desert, always promising but never delivering. And the worst part? This endless tweaking can kill your creativity. It can drain the joy out of making music, turning it into a mechanical process rather than an artistic expression. It's like you're so focused on making everything technically perfect that you lose sight of the bigger picture, the feeling, the vibe, the soul of the music. Remember, music is about emotion, connection, and expression. Don't let the quest for perfection rob you of that. So why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we put ourselves through the endless cycle of tweaking and adjusting, never feeling satisfied with our work? Why is it so hard to let go of a track, to finally say, this is done, and move on to the next project? Even when we know it's probably good enough. We spend hours, days, sometimes even weeks obsessing over the smallest details. Well, part of it is just human nature. We have an innate desire to perfect our creations, to make them as flawless as possible. We're wired to strive for perfection, to constantly try and improve. This drive can be a powerful motivator, pushing us to achieve great things. And when you're passionate about something, like music, that desire to make it the best it can be is even stronger. You pour your heart and soul into every note, every beat. But here's the thing, perfection is a myth. It doesn't exist. No matter how much you tweak and adjust, there will always be something that could be changed. There's always going to be something you could tweak, something you could improve. And that's okay. It's part of the creative process. And chasing that illusion of perfection will only drive you crazy. It can lead to burnout, frustration, and even a loss of passion for the craft. Another reason we get stuck in the tweaking trap is fear. Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of putting our art out there for the world to see. We think that if we just keep tweaking, if we just make it a little bit better, then maybe, just maybe, people will like it. We hope that by making it perfect, we can avoid criticism. But here's the truth. Even the biggest artists in the world, the ones with millions of fans and countless hits, they still listen to their old songs and wish they could change something. They still hear those little imperfections, those things they wish they had done differently. It's a universal experience for all creators. The difference? They actually dropped the song, they accepted the imperfections, and moved on. They put it out there, imperfections and all, and let the world decide. They understood that the pursuit of perfection can be paralyzing, and that's what separates the pros from the amateurs. It's not about making perfect music, it's about making music that connects with people. It's about sharing your art, your passion, your story, and letting it resonate with others. It's about the emotion, the connection, the impact. So let go of the need for perfection. Embrace the imperfections and let your music speak for itself. Because in the end, it's the imperfections that make it unique, that make it yours. Chapter 3. So, how do you break free from the endless loop of perfectionism? This is a question that haunts many artists, musicians, and creators. The pursuit of perfection can be paralyzing, making it difficult to know when to stop tweaking and finally release your work into the world. How do you know when a song is actually done? Is it ever truly finished? Or is there always something more you could add or change? Here are 2 game-changing tips that have helped me and countless others in the creative field. These tips are designed to help you break free from the chains of perfectionism and move forward with confidence. Tip number 1, get a second ear and actually listen to it. This might sound simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Look, I get it. You've poured your heart and soul into this track. Every note, every beat, every lyric has been meticulously crafted. You know every single sound, every little detail. You've spent hours, days, maybe even weeks perfecting it. And it's hard to be objective when you're so close to the music. Your attachment to the work can cloud your judgment. That's where a fresh perspective comes in. A second pair of ears can offer insights you might have missed. Find someone you trust, your producer, your bandmate, or even a friend who has a great ear for music. That one friend with fire taste in music, and play them your track. Their feedback can be invaluable. But here's the catch. Actually listen to their feedback. This means being open to criticism and suggestions. Don't get defensive. Don't try to explain away their criticisms. Just listen. Absorb what they have to say. If they say it's good, it's good. Trust their judgment. If they say it needs work, ask them to be specific. What needs work? Is it the mix, the arrangement, the lyrics? How can you make it better? Use their feedback to make targeted improvements. But here's the most important part. If they say it's done, trust them. Sometimes you need that outside perspective to tell you when to stop. Sometimes all you need is that outside perspective to realize that you're overthinking it. That the track is actually ready to go. That the track is actually ready to go. Trust the process and the people you've chosen to help you. Tip number 2, set deadlines and work backwards. This one is huge. Deadlines create a sense of urgency and help you stay focused. One of the best ways to overcome perfectionism and actually finish your music is to set deadlines. Without a deadline, it's easy to keep pushing things off. Having a release date in mind creates a sense of urgency and forces you to make decisions. It gives you a clear target to aim for. Think of it like this. If you want to drop your next single on October 1st, you need to plan accordingly. You need to work backwards. Start from the release date and map out all the steps you need to take to get there. Your music video should be done by mid-September, giving you enough time to promote it, which means your mix and master need to be finalized by August. This ensures everything is polished and ready for release. And to hit that deadline, you need to have your recording wrapped up by June. See how that works? Each step builds on the previous one. By setting a deadline and breaking down the process into smaller, more manageable steps, you're less likely to get bogged down in the details. It keeps you on track and moving forward. You're less likely to get bogged down in the details. You have a clear roadmap to follow. You have to keep moving forward, even if it means letting go of some of those tiny imperfections. Progress is more important than perfection, even if it means letting go of some of those tiny imperfections. Remember, done is better than perfect. So, how do you know when a song is done, or do you still get stuck tweaking forever? Let's talk in the comments. I want to hear your strategies for overcoming perfectionism and actually finishing your music. And of course, if you want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on that bell so you don't miss the next one. See y'all in the next video.